Good morning, everyone. Today is Friday Facts for the DIY Musician. Today we're going to talk about songwriters and can I really make a living at songwriting? This is just going to be a summary of some of the things that you can do as a songwriter to make money and to actually make a living at it. Most musicians themselves will do more than one thing, but sometimes it starts with the songwriting. And what we're going to do is I'm going to share my screen today. And people are always asking me this. And songwriting is the best way to make money as a musician. There are a lot of different professions. And so we're just going to go over a couple today. And next week, we'll go over even more. We're going to just take a look at this PowerPoint. What are your skills? This is where it starts. What are your skills? Are you a good word master? Are you a good storyteller? Because songs are stories. There's a beginning, a middle, and the end usually. And there's a craft of songwriting. And everybody has their own style. So you need to work on those things. Maybe you shine as a music melody maker, which means that you are always having melodies in your head. You might not be the word person, but you might be the person that does the music for it. And words and instrumentation comes together as a song. And so you are also a songwriter. Do you love the arrangement and the composer position? Do you like to take all that stuff and put it together? There are jobs just for that. Are you techie enough to record yourself? It's going to be very important that you actually are going to be recording yourself so you can get some of those songs down. And if you need to do better production later on, you can do that stuff. Can you work with other writers, co-writing and creating? A lot of times when you co-write with other people, it brings out other creations with you, get other ideas, those kind of things. And you should not be afraid to co-create with other people. Are you dedicated to learn the business you want to enter? These are all different sections and businesses. So what we're going to go over today are just a quick look at those things. And in a couple weeks, I'm going to start actually a new Facebook group where every week we go on and we really dive into each one of these and not just songwriting, but other kinds of things that people are doing out in the world to get their music heard. So let's start with original music artists. That's what you're all asking me about. Can I get out there with my own music and make money? And you can, but it is going to take some time to do it because you got to get the music together and you have to perform out and you also have to get involved with social media. This is the way people are finding people. Yes, we need to get on Spotify. Yes, we need to get some press. Yes, people have to come out and see us and we need to promote. And that's a lot of work for a DIY artist, but you have to do it if you want success in these things. So basically if you're a soloist or you are a band, you want to share your heart mission with your own audience. That's what you want to do. That's how you want to make money. And you can do that, but it takes a lot of pieces of the pie to make that happen. Finding fans on social media. Again, this is how people are finding their fans and getting enough fans to come out to see you, to buy your merch, to be involved in you. Add virtual performances. Virtual performances are not going away when COVID goes away. In fact, it's going to be more prevalent than anything else because people are used to seeing you online performing. So if you have not tried the virtual performance and you are doing original music, you need to jump in and start thinking about those things. You want to find they call about your 1,000 true fans. You do not need millions of fans to make a living as a songwriter, as an original artist. So you're going to have to do some touring to make this happen because you want to branch out to different areas and people want to see and hear you. So that's going to be very important. So that's just a touch on putting out your original music. Instrumental melody maker, which I talked about before. Writing music to highlight other media. There's lots of media. Take a look around, take a listen around to a lot of things that are happening right in your everyday life. From every time you go into a podcast, maybe a speaker also has music behind him before and after he comes on to actually speak. There's so many advertisement possibilities and opportunities we're talking about here. It can be local. It does not have to be national. This is the way you get to learn how to jingle right, how to work for the product, those kind of things. Websites, a lot of websites with some music in it. Gaming, huge possibilities in gaming, but you kind of need to be a gamer to understand and listen to that music stuff behind it, because there's a lot of money to be made in there. Even stuff like musical toys. Where does all that music come from? So there's all these kind of cool things that maybe you haven't thought of before. And again, as we do our Facebook groups, as we do it in the next couple of weeks, we will jump into all these things, and I'll be open for questions and things like that. You need a production background or team up with the studio owner. If you want to do these kind of things and you are making all the music, it's got to sound good. So you need to co-produce with somebody else, to get together with somebody who really knows how to mix and master and also produce and that kind of stuff, or even another songwriter. Then you guys come together and you learn that stuff. This is how people do their instrumentation. Next, we have custom songs. So I have an artist that does custom songs, and more people are doing it, but you got to have a craft for doing it. So it's constructing personal songs for special occasions, taking someone's life story and putting it to music. People give you their story and they want to know what kind of music it is. And then it's up to you to take that story and actually write out as a song, actually write it out in the prose, like almost like a poem or something like that. And then you can put music to it. And so this is a huge craft. A lot of people want to do this. It's not for everybody, but you got to be great with words. You got to be great with melody, and you got to move pretty fast, because sometimes those come out pretty quickly. You could hire by party planners. They have the weddings, the promotions, and all kinds of stuff for United Airlines and all that kind of stuff. And also pitch hotels for conferences and big private events. Of course, you can do like your own cover songs, or you can be your instrumental guitarist. You could also do that kind of stuff too. But the custom song that Harold that I work with has been doing actually changed people's whole event. But you need to be able to, again, take somebody's story, which is very personal, and then write it out. You might not have to put everything in there, put it to music, have them approve it, and then maybe you actually go and perform it live for them at the event, or maybe they'll get a recording of it and give it to everybody at the event or something like that. This is how some people are making money. And this is more the corporate world, but it doesn't have to be. I've seen some people who do parodies and things like that and then put people's words to it. There's some custom songs out there, but you gotta be good. If you want the money, you got to be good. Maybe you get a catchy name to advertise on the internet if you're going to do this and advertise and get people to come in and do stuff. But you're going to have to make sure that you have some samples of what you're doing. Again, connecting with other musicians that can help you put a production together for somebody if they want it recorded, and also be pretty tech connections. So you don't have to be connected to everybody, but if somebody wants it on, if you play guitar and somebody wants on piano, then you might want to be connected with some people who do that. Writing songs for other singers. I've had a couple people I've actually talked to about this. They said, I don't want to be a singer. I just want to be a songwriter. And I want other people to do it. So instead of taking your songs and pitching it to the Lady Gagas or the Maroon 5 or whoever it is, they have their songs. There's a lot of big singers who don't, but you want to look at the new singers coming up. Check on America's Got Talent, the past voice participants. Those kind of people are coming up in the world and have a lot of attention on them. It doesn't have to be from this year. It can be from last year or the year before, because there are people who are out there performing and they need songs. Just because you're a good singer does not mean they have their own songs. Specific artists. If you want to contact a specific artist, you need to contact the artist manager or producer to pitch the songs to them. It's hard to get to the artists themselves. And the right way to go is through a manager. And when we get into our groups, October and November, we'll go over some of those things. But this is how you contact those people. Suggestions. I did this with one of my songwriters that came in and talked to me. Separate your songs by the feel instead of the genre of music. Is it inspirational, sporty, love, dance? Is it about change, loss, uplifting? Is it about starting over, whatever it is? So take all of your songs and separate it by subject. And then you explore the singers that do specific kinds of songs. Everybody does different songs. And so instead of looking at them as genre, look at them as what kind of missions and statements they're putting out there through their songs. Singers pick songs to sing to tell a familiar story because that's how people relate. Get the listeners to be emotional, relate to a subject, those kind of things. So if you're that kind of songwriter, then you want to look for other singers and maybe songwriters that may do your song with you and stuff like that. This is how some people get to be a gold and platinum songwriters, is because they either write with those other artists or they get present a song to them and they actually have them do it. And then you'll get your royalties. That's where the mailbox money comes from. And then this other one is composers and producers. This is what we've been talking about for a couple of weeks: writing songs for TV, movies, those kind of things, writing songs and music pieces for TV and gaming, composing and producing pretty fast. You're going to have to do that because it moves pretty fast. Films are a little slower, but they may get a higher sync license in the beginning, and it may last longer with royalties because they have success. Advertising, again, big money maker with advertising. If you write catchy songs that connect with the product, get people's attention, you might want to study those kind of things. Be really techie. The more techie you are, the more possibility that your product will come out great. Study the media you want to enter into. So maybe you just need to dabble in a little bit of everything and see where you land. And so we've been talking about that for a couple of weeks, and we even had music supervisors come on and talk to you about those things. So these are just a couple things. Actually, next week, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come on and we're going to talk about other music professions that maybe you never thought about before, where there are people making money doing their music and making money as a career, as what part of their career, and then they can put their stuff back into original music or touring or something like that. The successful musicians don't just tour. They don't just put music out on the radio. They always have another area that they're actually concentrating on. So we'll talk about that next week. I hope some of that will spark some ideas for you, because again, I would say the two ways that musicians make money in this world is, one, as a songwriter. So having people do your songs, getting royalties, those kind of things. And the second one is touring. And I know touring has gone by the wayside for a while, but it'll be coming back next year. And we'll do a whole series on that too. So keep watch. We are going to be doing a webinar in a couple of weeks about how to make money with your music. And we're going to also start announcing a DIY music network. And that will be part of the Facebook Live, like coaching once a week will happen for that stuff. And then we're going to start announcing some other kinds of things and Zoom announcements and things like that. So if you're a songwriter, hopefully some of that has sparked an idea for you. I want you to sit down and start thinking about that stuff. And next week, we'll give you some more ideas. So I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks.